Hello, welcome to the Unstuck Club. Today, you're actually going to have the opportunity to introduce two special people to each other. Nelo and Di haven't met, and I've actually made sure that you haven't met before. So, first of all, hi, Di, because we do this all the time.
Yes, hi,
And
Joe.
hi. And Nelo and I haven't spoken in maybe 4 years.
Wow.
But I've had my eye on you. Basically, I've been stalking you for 4 years on on social media. When I had the
Ooh.
social media agency, and I was supporting companies to train up young potential social media managers and account managers and all that kind of stuff. Nelo was one of the people that I had the absolute joy of training up, but
Yeah.
Di, she was quiet as a little mouse. And over time, I've watched this personality absolutely blossom online to the point that I stalked a little deeper and I was like Nelo, my first question is, have you become an influencer? Because you give off influencer vibes. Like you absolutely do. Like, I don't even know what you're doing now, but the reason why I wanted to do this is because I wanted to understand from you how you broke into such a confident personality from this shy, quiet.
Yeah.
So tell us a little something.
Okay, I was really quiet, like a little mouse in Joburg. And I think it's also because it was quite tricky in Joburg. It was the first time I stepped into like a world of work. So it was very, very like I don't know what is what. Like I don't know whether I'm doing something right, am I doing something wrong? I'm still learning. So but I let myself learn so much that I think by the time I came back, I think that's when COVID hit, when I came back to Bloom. No. Let me start there. After I left at my previous workplace there in Joburg, the first one, I got the courage to go to certain shows by myself. It was like I saw something on Facebook and it was happening in Maponeng. So I DM'd the host and said, "Hi, I saw this and I'd like to maybe do a bit of social media for you because I see you're not doing it." Because of all the skills I learned from Jodene, I'd like to like do it myself. So I approached and then he asked to meet. So we met and then I was handed over the account to handle it. So I'd go and do live streams from the shows. I started doing transcribing. So I think the fact that I took the step to ask someone to do something for themselves, that was the first step to breaking my shyness to be more confident. Because had I stayed fearful, like I've never been able to do anything really. Mm.
And then you're back in Bloom now.
Yes, I am back in Bloom now. Yeah, came back in beginning of 2020. Came back beginning of 2020 because the business that I was working for at the time wasn't making money anymore. So we came back and we still ran things online. I'd come to Joburg like once a month or once every second month. We started to do things digitally the same way, stream, do recording, podcast recording. So we would like source people that would want to speak. And then I would just do scribing from there on and all of those things. So yeah, it was quite very interesting. I grew a lot.
Can we backtrack 1 second? Because you said something really interesting. Is when you approached that first person to talk to them about their social media, and you said, I was fearful, but I did it anyway. What was the thing that got you to actually open your mouth and have that conversation?
I don't know, because I was just sitting. If I didn't take that move, I wouldn't have been able to see what's on the other side. You know, like it's you get stuck. So you have to break something in order to move forward. And I didn't want to feel stuck like forever. I had to break the first step. And I think I was growing and thinking about like this potential connection, someone I'll probably talk to again in a few years. So if I don't reach out at all and just let things be, I'm not growing. I won't be growing at all. So yeah.
So what I hear then is that your hunger for change or growth was bigger than your fear at the time.
Yes, it
Because
is.
I know that there's going to be somebody listening to this going, oh, yeah, she makes it sound so easy. And it reminds me, because I was very much like you when I was in
Mm,
my 20s. I was incredibly shy and
mm,
introverted, and I joined Toastmasters. I don't know if you know Toastmasters, it's a public
yeah.
speaking organization, it's worldwide. And
Mm,
I remember because sitting in my car, because I said, no, I have to do this. So my husband had said to me, I'm not going with you. Like I have no need. I'm quite comfortable speaking in public. And I remember
yeah.
sitting in my car going, I can't go in there. I'm just so scared. And this little voice said to me, like, if you don't go in, your life is never going to change. And I got out of my car, and fortunately, there weren't a lot of people. There was one guy busy setting up the room, and I started helping him. So it's interesting that you had that moment. And I think it is for so many people, like, you have to do it. And it's
Mm,
just to find that little, like, acorn of courage. Because he could have all that would have happened was this guy would have said, no, I'm not interested. Like there
yeah.
wouldn't have been an earth shattering event. So I loved what you said there. Like I just overcame that fear. And it is that split second decision. Let me just go for it and
Yes.
see what happens.
Mm, mm. Yeah, I remember when you speak of Toastmaster now, like I remember in varsity, I think it was in my final year, because I was so shy, but I was doing so well academically. They did recommend I go to Toastmaster, right? I had all the material. I was supposed to attend the first session. I ditched because I couldn't. I ditched. I couldn't. I couldn't. I couldn't. I was not brave enough.
Mm.
But yeah, it is Toastmaster. It is a really good thing to go to in order to build confidence, public speaking, and all of that.
Mm.
So yeah. Mm.
What what changed that you literally just got so confident that you just show the joy of life and who you are, like,
Mm.
online? You're happy to snap the pictures, tell the stories. I genuinely want to know what shifted that you are so comfortable with yourself that you can just be like, I can see the stuff that you post. You know that dance like no one's watching? That's exactly what I see from you. And it's interesting on social media because a lot of times when you watch people, well, when you follow people's content, it looks so staged. But I can actually tell that with you, it's just that picture. I mean, I've seen pictures that you've posted where someone else has caught you in a
Yeah.
moment. You haven't filtered it. You've just put it out there. Where does that confidence come from?
As time as time goes by, like especially when I was in Joburg, you realize that nothing happens really. You are scared to do something, but then there's no results to that. And if like it's I don't wanna it's not in a bad way, but like nobody cares. Let me say that. Nobody cares. So if you say, oh no, I can't do that, why? Who's watching? Why are you worried? So that's been in my mind. Like I'm gonna do it anyway because it's just who you are. And if you keep saying, no, I'm concerned that maybe Jodene is watching, I'm concerned that we are never really going to be comfortable with ourselves. So it's important to just block out that mentality of somebody's watching you. No, nobody's watching you. At the end of the day, it's your own life that you have to live. You don't have to report it to somebody else. It's about you. Are you happy with it? I mean, you asked me earlier, what do I want to be called? What name am I comfortable with? everybody calls me Nelo. I'm comfortable with Nelo. And I'm also comfortable with my full name. I don't mind. But Nelo is the name that everybody calls me by. So yeah, it's
And it's just
just
because you comfortable in your own skin. What's the for you? What's the difference between nobody's watching and nobody cares, and using the social media online space to promote yourself as a brand? Because then you do have to care that that
that's
you do have to care that people are watching you.
mm. Thing is, if when I say nobody's watching, at the moment when you do something, it's that's you. And also you have to be like really true to yourself. Like, are you doing something because people are watching? Or when you say nobody cares, I mean, it depends. Like right now, if I'm on this podcast, I know there's certain standard I gotta maintain because somebody cares, right? And when I say nobody's watching, I'm here right now talking to you. I mean, I could be hiding like, no, Jodene, I don't want to do this, Jodene, blah, blah, blah. I could have. So it's quite a thin line between nobody cares and nobody is watching. It's just you have to just really be true to yourselves. And I don't think when you human beings in general, when you're true to yourself in nature, you're not evil or you don't try to harm or other people. I think generally we are kind people. We just want to be happy. So we need to live up to that really. So yeah.
I just identify so much with her story. And I think a lot of us do who want to be in the online space, or because of our businesses, we want to be in the online space. But you're also just so aware of how much criticism that can
Mm,
generate for you. So
Mm.
I think, yeah, having the confidence in yourself so that you're always going to get the trolls, you're always going to get the people
Yeah.
who don't agree with you. And it can be quite paralyzing. I know for myself, it really is. And I think, Joe, you've also struggled with it
mm,
because of the fields that we work in.
Yeah.
And it
yeah.
just takes one unkind comment that can really
Mm,
derail you. But in the greater scheme of things, does it matter what some random person, what their opinion is of you
mm,
when you
Oh,
are providing value, giving service, and being out there? So it's just
mm,
so inspiring. It just, for me personally, it's just very inspiring to hear this story because I've been struggling with this recently, in fact, just because of
mm.
this new company that I'm starting. It's like, oh, how am I going to do this? And it's like, just go and speak to the first person. They're
Yeah.
yeah.
human. I think that's the
Yeah.
thing. They are human beings. I think we also can make these things a lot bigger, a lot scarier. The monsters in our head become so overwhelming that they completely wipe out the reality of what it is
Mm.
we want to go into or start or approach. So
Mm,
I'm loving this.
mm,
I'm just sitting here
Yeah.
absorbing all of this
Mm.
wisdom.
And yeah, I'd also like
Nelo,
to add that sometimes when I post, actually, you need to think I'm posting for myself. So if it inspires somebody else, that's a bonus. If I worry about posting for other people, then that's where another problem comes in. I'm gonna worry about what they say, what. So I'm posting for myself. This is me. I'm happy with this. So let it show.
mm.
Yeah,
What what do your friends and family think? Can they see the change in you?
they do.
Have
They
people
can,
actually
especially
noticed the change?
especially my mom. She's like, the other time I was doing like a little feature while there was an event on some radio station. She was like, yo, you are everywhere. So, but I feel more alive actually. And I think this has always been me. It's just that I was maybe overcome by fear, but then now I reversed that whole thing. So, yeah.
So, Di and I are not about what's your 5-year plan, and we're not about you need a vision board and you need to absolutely be driven by goals and all that kind of thing. But we definitely believe that you take action because you're inspired to be a version of yourself. And
Yeah.
when you are inspired enough to be a version of yourself, that's when you start to plan out and aim for certain things or set intentions for yourself. So I'm not doing the question of what's your 5-year plan,
Yeah.
but I do want to know, what are you inspired to be, and who are you inspired to be, and how does it link into who you've had to become or wanted to become to get there?
I think at the end of the day, I just want to be my happiest. I feel like previous years I wasn't really, because it was almost like I'm still trying to figure myself out. Sadly, it took that long, but it's okay. I'm glad I'm here now. It's just to be my happiest and truly live how I've always wished to live, without being concerned about other people. I mean, imposter syndrome does hit here and there. It's normal, but I always remember that we're not going back to that cage again, so you need to keep moving forward. And where I really would like to see myself, it's just continue growing, being this bigger person. I could end up in a media space. I mean, some days I'm out camping, some I just want to live, explore everything. I once had a conversation with someone and said, are we really meant to be just one thing? I don't think so, because our interests really spread throughout. One moment I'm interested in social media. 1 minute I'm interested in being influencer. 1 minute, no, I just want my peace. I want to see nature. 1 minute I want to be, but I think the system is built in such that unfortunately we get to be focused on one thing. And every time you revert back and try to explore another side, it's like you start from the bottom. You see, so for me it's like tapping into everything and just being happy with it and living with that. So yeah.
That's such a beautiful thing that's important for us to remember from a generational point of view. So from a generational point of view, like, your generation was told, you get into one thing and you stick to that one thing and you do that, you absolutely just do that one thing.
Yeah.
I know that I've come from the generation where it needs to show what you've studied on your CV, and then it needs to, like, our leadership qualities as Gen X is like so important. You have to prove that you're a leader. And I always use, I just had the problem with Google now. So I'm trying to set up the Google page that has all of the business information. And it says you need to choose 3 categories to fit into, right? Not one category that I actually have the capacity to fit into even exists. I am not a life coach. I'm not a life coach. I am more of a spiritual guide. I'm
Yeah.
a teacher. I'm all about self-awareness. The only thing that I could possibly choose was to fall into the life coach category. There's no people development. There's no any kind of spiritual guidance at all. It's not there. And you're right. It's a big thing between Di and myself. So Nelo, Di and I have been friends for many, many years. And some of the biggest conversations that you and I have had together, Di, is, who are we now?
Yeah.
You know,
And what do we call ourselves?
what do we call ourselves? Who are we now? And
Yeah.
and actually,
It
it's
is
because we've
something.
been so programmed, and it's so refreshing that you're so open to be all these little bits of yourself. Because I can imagine
And
that any opportunity you have, you would just say yes to.
used to, yeah, provided that I can see that I can do it. Yeah. And what did I want to add something now? Oh, I think maybe your generation, the difference between your generation and our generation is also we've normalized starting over. It's okay. Like, if I want to change, I'm going to start over and be that for the next 5 years. After 5 years, I want to change and do something else. So we've normalized that, and I think it's working. We are more maybe happier. We're not depressed and feel stuck at a certain career and just push it through till retirement. No. So yeah.
Are there older people around you who are concerned about that kind of mindset that you have? Because I find it refreshing. So sometimes when I say to people, I'm 50 now, turning 52, and I have completely reinvented myself more than once. A lot of times, I have a lot of people say to me, "Oh, I could never do what you do." So, is the older generation still like pushing on to you? You should find your path and stick to your path.
I've got that a lot, especially more in the workplace. But outside workplace, the people that I maybe live with and the friends that I can call sisters, because they could be like 40 plus, they really get it. They really get it. Because the conversations we would have would be, I wish I could be able to do that. Now I'm stuck here. I can't change a career. It's you're just doing it because now they feel it might be a little too late to change. And so, yeah, it's kind
Wow.
of
So
like,
you
I think
actually,
that's really, I think that's really sad because, you
hmm,
know, and you're seeing the fallout of this thing of having one career. I mean, if you just look on LinkedIn, I mean, especially in the field of copywriters, content writers, I mean, AI is definitely having an impact. And
it is.
a lot of these people are really struggling to, they get retrenched or the company they're working for closes down and they have no other skills. And I
Yeah.
heard a phrase a couple of years ago that young people, if they sit down for a job interview and the person who is older generation looks at their CV, and as you say, it's a year here doing this, it's a year, 6 months, and they actually refer to them as jagged CVs.
Hmm,
And it's in a way, it's actually a good thing because it does expose you to different skills. I mean,
it
I'm
does.
66. I only feel now that I'm really gaining ground with what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's never one thing. I mean, if somebody says to me, "What do you do?" And I go, "Okay, have you got 15 minutes so I can tell you what I'm all
What else?
involved in?"
Hmm,
And it's happening more and more, and I'm excited for the opportunities. So I think a lot, we really have to change the way we view work and the workplace.
yeah,
And I think
definitely.
people like you, are really showing us that you can be these things. I love it. I'll say yes. I mean, Richard Branson's, that's what you say yes, and then you figure out
Then
afterwards
you figure
how
it
you're going to do it.
100%,
Yeah.
100%. I mean, now you won't believe, professionally, I mean, basically, admin. I'm an admin professionally. And I kept the way I'm actually enjoying it. It's for me, it's balance in life. I do admin professionally, right? And then I think I would be a great personal assistant or an executive assistant, right? But outside that, I'm also this person who loves socializing, who likes exploring. So I'm kind of like, for me, it's a balance in life. And I don't know if, like you mentioned, Diane, that it could be seen, people also viewing it as it could be like a jagged CV or a jagged personality, like someone that doesn't know themselves. But no, we're just really trying to balance life and not be bored of it. So, yeah.
So Nella, I fell quiet for a while on social media. I actually went to die in December, and I said to Di, I feel like I need a bit of a break from social media. And there was a lot going on at that time. And I got into a real space of self-doubt, right? And in that time, I decided that I need to it's so important that people understand what I do. And in order for them to understand what I do, I need to show just this, just what I teach and how I can help and how I can support, and then push the other, like stop posting a lot of the other stuff. That's what I decided.
Mm.
And I never managed to post. And it's so interesting because the thing that shifted me was the moment that I posted again. something that had to do with being a Swiftie. And it's this programming of you trying to be professional. You need to show the world that you're professional, but you love unicorns and sparkles and have this complete other side of you. And it is such an important thing that you are saying, that you embrace both parts of who you are, because a lot of there's always this, and maybe it's just my perception, although I have had some comments come at me, like, oh, was that really appropriate to post? It doesn't give the world the proper impression of who you are. Actually, who I am is someone who is deeply, deeply spiritual, extremely knowledgeable about what I do, like an absolute spiritual guide and coach and teacher who loves Taylor Swift, watches Formula One, can absolutely just be a kid at heart. And that's a beautiful message. I love that you said that.
Yeah.
What? So the one thing that you missed that I just want to get an idea of, unless it's just so unclear for you, is what are you working at now to become? Is there something that you are wishing to become, that you are putting some focus and effort into?
At the moment,
It feels like you actually are in such presence.
Yeah.
Which is just it's glorious to watch. It actually feels like you're in such presence that's really a complex thing to answer.
It is like it feels, yeah, it is, because I think at the moment I'm in this moment, right? I'm in this moment. I'm being the best I am at this moment. So I don't know what's gonna happen 2 years from now or next year. I don't know. Anything can go whichever way, right? But I'm gonna embrace it as it comes, because I know whatever efforts I'm putting in now, for example, doing my best at work in admin, like I said, I could end up being an executive assistant or anything like that, or moving to Joburg or Cape Town, wherever it goes. But I'm gonna show up as my best at that moment. But I know whatever that is, what I'm doing now, it's pushing me into where I need to be. There isn't a specific role to say, oh, this is where I want to be. I just know that I'm doing my best, living my best right now, and giving it all. Like, if anything happens, I don't have any regret. Honestly, I don't. You see? So, yeah.
Isn't it so refreshing, Di?
Yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, we can learn a lot from you.
It's beautiful. And I really just want to tell you, Nelo, I'm so proud of you, because, I watched firsthand, like sitting next to you and trying to coax a personality out of you.
I remember those days. I remember those days. I remember those days.
And it's really been beautiful to see. Like, I'm extremely proud of you. Just got to keep on doing what you're doing. And we are it's like, thank you for saying yes to the podcast, because it's really important. We get we just get stuck in not embracing the depth of who we are. That's basically what you're saying. You had to dig deeper into your personality, and you had to show up in your most authentic way, because you know that's the only way you're going to get anywhere, which is incredible.
Yeah, and the other reason why I can't give you a straight answer to say this is where specifically I want to be, if it happens that I focus too much on that and I don't reach it, that's when I'll probably be more frustrated. I'll be more frustrated, demotivated, feel like things are not working out. Where else? All these little things that I do on the side will actually build me up, and I will get there eventually. I won't really focus on that. I'm not saying people shouldn't have goals, but I think it really starts with you, where you have to grow with yourself, be content with yourself, know that you are doing the best that you can.
Yeah. And I just have a vision that one day you'll just wake up and you'll go, I need to reach a little higher, or Joburg is calling, or Cape Town is calling. That's really the way that I see you doing it, that you are so confident enough. And I love what you're saying, because that's what we talk about. We talk about expectation. You're not setting yourself up for any kind of expectation, and you're also not being apathetic about your life. You are constantly focused on being the best version of yourself, which is just so beautiful.
I think this is a beautiful reminder to anyone listening who is really hamstrung by fear and lack of confidence that it can be learned. You know, there are people who are naturally born confident. They literally come out of the womb confident, and it's very clear from a young age. But there are millions of us, you know, who have had to really overcome the crippling anxiety, the lack of confidence. But the thing is, and what I love about Nelo's story is you have to take the action.
You have to.
As hard as it is, you have to just like, I have to do this. You know, things will never change until we decide to change and do something different from just staying in our heads. And you just are such a wonderful example of that and what can be achieved, you know. And the lovely thing is, of course, Joe has seen you when you were as quiet as a mouse. This confident, beautiful young woman who is, you know, out there, an influencer, creating content and just showing up in your life, as you say, to the best of your ability in this moment. And I think I love it. I've absolutely loved this time with you.
Amazing.
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you for being on the Unstuck Club, Nelo. Thank you so
Thank you, Jodene.
We've loved having you. I'm going to always be stalking you. And if you return to Joburg, or you wherever you end up, we just want to know. Like, we support you, and we're so proud of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Such a pleasure. Such a pleasure. And with that, we're going to see everyone soon.